Okay, so I'm going to do a short tutorial and a review for these Born Pretty products. And these are called the Blooming Impression series. And it comes with a clear, which unfortunately I have tinted a little white, and I'll explain that in a bit. And then 6 colors: a blue, a green, a purple, a yellow, which looks orange in the bottle, and then this is the actual orange, and then there's a red, reddish pinkish color as well. And what I have done is I've made decals with a white base, Fingerpaints paper mache, and then I put a clear, Wet and Wild clear nail protector over it, because when I did these originally, this picked up the white base, the clear. I'm not sure why, but it did, and it tinted it a little bit white. And it doesn't seem to affect the usage of it, but since I didn't want to keep doing that, I have put a clear on. So there's different ways that you can use these. The website says you can use them on top of the colors once you drop the colors, but I wanted to try to make these like the blooming gels. I don't know if you guys have seen those, but they just sort of bloom on the nail and they look really pretty. But those are gels, which I don't use. So I was hoping to get a similar effect with these. And so I will show you what I did for this Manny. I'm just opening bottles here so that I can do this quickly, because you do have to work pretty quickly once the clear is on. So this clear sort of acts like a medium to spread that polish better. And it works better the more you put on, because if you put too thin of a coat on, it won't do that blooming thing because it dries too quickly. And so all I did was just drop polishes like that, and then I just went close to the next color and it just dropped. Okay, and then the green. I'm just filling in the empty spots, as you can tell. And I can go back in and just sort of fill in with any colors around where I missed them. And it really does provide a really pretty just watercolor effect there. Now, the reason why I did these as decals instead of directly on the nail is because I think these are water-based. They behave like they're water-based. And so you see these bits that are drawing along the side. If they get into your sidewalls and under the cuticle, kind of, it's very difficult. You have to remove it while it's wet, and because it's very, very difficult to remove once it's dry. I don't know if you guys have used like an water-based peel-off coat, but if you let it dry, it's very difficult to remove with acetone because it wants to just peel off instead of being affected by the acetone. So because I didn't want to deal with that cleanup, it's just easier for me to make decals with these. The other interesting thing about these is this is why I also think that these are water-based, is that they won't work for water marbling. A lot of sheer tints like this, like the OPI color paints and their tints and their last series that look like this, will work great for water marbling, but these don't. They just sort of like spread out into the water instead of sitting on top. So that's another reason why I do think that they're water-based. So that's how I did the Manny that you see there. And the thing that I'm going to show next is what they had shown in their pictures of this on their website, which is instead of doing the clear underneath, they used it on top. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. So same thing. I'm just going to sort of dot these colors on. Okay. and you can see that they come out much more saturated when you apply them directly on the white. And they do look pretty like that, and you can do different manis like that as well. But it says to use this as a top to then dilute that and then create that effect. Now, I didn't like how this worked this way for a couple of different reasons. One, it really stains this. So now I have to wipe it off on something before I dip it back into the bottle. Like I just wiped it off on a Kleenex here, because otherwise now it will tint that clear even more than I've already tinted it with the white. And the other thing is, so unless you do that with every single swipe, the colors really sort of blend together and get a little murky. The other thing you've noticed here is because I took too long on the second bit, those first dots had already dried, so they are not doing that same sort of blending and of colors like it did here. So you can use them this way, and I'm sure there's if you're quick about it and maybe only do a few drops of the color and then drops of the clear on top, and you do it in pieces and patches like that, you could probably get a better effect. But I just preferred them doing it the way I did here. Now, the other thing that these are good for, which I have tested as well, is that they're good for LED lighting because they are water-based and they do come out sheer. They do provide that sort of sheer effect. And I don't know what I just did here with the green in terms of spilling a bunch of it. I think because I tilted the bottle while it was still open. But so yeah, there's a few different ways you can use that, and I do like them quite a bit, but they are definitely a little bit different than what I am used to using. And I will also note that I'm not positive whether it's the pinky reddish color or the orange color, but these will bleed through black stamping, which I find annoying. Like sort of like if you've ever done the Sharpie stamping and you have some reds and oranges that bleed through the black stamping, that does it as well with these. Something in the pigment reacts to the black, and you get a sort of rusty orangey color leaking through, which I don't like. But so that's just something to be aware with these two colors. The other colors don't seem to do that from what I've noticed, but those two colors specifically do. Okay, so now you will see what I was talking about. These bleed into your side walls and what have you. Like, and once that's dry, that's really, really difficult to remove. And that's why with these, I think that doing decals with them and then letting them dry and then putting them on your nails is just a better bet, so that you don't have to deal with that cleanup. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope that was useful.